There are so many people who want to work who are quality humans who want to do something. Usually what it is people don't have a business people want to work for. That is usually the hardest part.
Hey guys, Joshua here, Brown's Pressure Washing, and I've got a favor to ask. Over the next 365 days, starting October 1st, we're going to be giving away a entire blueprint of how to start and scale up to 7 figures. The way I'm doing this is I'm bringing on one friend every week, and we will handle one question every single day. And we'll cover everything from leadership, marketing, sales, operations, services, and cash flow on how you can start and scale a business. And by the end of this 365 days, the plan is to have a library that anybody can go into on any month, pick out a different topic, and learn everything that they can possibly need to learn to start and scale their business. So, first, if you're interested in being one of the Win with Friends guests, I'd like for you to just DM me or post something in the bottom and say, hey, I'd love to be on the show. One thing I would ask is that you at least been doing it a couple of years, that you've got some experience when it comes to leadership and when it comes to scaling, growing a business. If you get some kingdom minded ideas on how you can use business for mission or serving your community, love to have you as a guest. But here's the deal, starting October 1st, join me right here. We're going to move it to noon because it seems like more people have time around lunchtime to tune in. And we're only going to be talking for maybe 3 to 8 minutes per day, but the questions are heavy. The content is real and it's going to be adding value to help you start and scale. So if you're interested, tune in. Make sure you subscribe wherever you consume your social media. And if you want to be on the show, just hit me up. And now let's get on with our show for today.
What's up, my friend? How are you doing today?
I am good, man. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. Would you mind just letting everyone know who you are and what problem you solve in the world?
Oh, that's a fun one. Okay, so my name's Ryan Redding. I'm in a change of identities at the moment. I recently exited my business that I ran for almost a decade, and right now I help other entrepreneurs kind of get unstuck in the business because everyone goes in the business like having these ideas of like they want lifestyle, right? They want the freedom. They want to be able to do things on their own terms. Turns out that's really hard sometimes. So I now help other people kind of do that, find that leverage, find that freedom, and eventually be able to scale so they can have the lifestyle that they're looking for.
That is awesome. You're the perfect guest for today's conversation because there's a lot of business owners that desire to scale without losing their dang minds. And based on your experience inside of the trades and dozen industries as far as coaching, what's the first thing a business owner should watch out and stop doing if they want to scale?
You know what's funny? That's a really good one. I'm going to say stop doing almost everything,
Okay.
which sounds totally crazy. Most people go into whatever their trade is. If it's plumbing, if it's making cupcakes, it doesn't matter because they're really good at slinging a wrench or they're really good at making a cupcake. That's not the same skill you need to run a plumbing shop or to run a bakery. So one of the things to do is actually stop doing everything. Stop feeling like you've got to be the hero. Stop feeling like it's all up to you to kind of make things happen. That is almost a guaranteed recipe for just being stuck in a job that you hate.
All right. So you're telling me to stop doing everything, but nobody wants to work these days. I can't find anybody. I'm looking on Indeed, Facebook. Help me figure out how I can find somebody to do the things I don't want to do.
I'm going to call BS on the nobody wants to work these days. I think there's an for a billion reasons. There are so many people who want to work who are quality humans who want to do something. Usually, what it is people don't have a business people want to work for. That is usually the hardest part. Have a business that's attractive to pull people in, which means one of the hardest things you can do is paint a vision of the company big enough to pull people in to that wants that has room for them, right? So you want to actually paint this picture. So no, this is not a the workforce sucks or the labor market sucks or I can't get anyone on Indeed. Like those are I'm going to call excuses on every single one of those. This is 100% back to people aren't brave enough to create a vision to people and create a business that people want to be part of.
You're nailing it right now, and I want to go in deep. We're going off the script because you're hitting issues that if they're not addressed, if you're listening right now and you're trying to figure out how do I get off the truck, how do I scale my business? Our guest Ryan is saying there's one big problem, and it's your vision and it's your mission. Help somebody who's processing, how do I even create a mission? How do I create a vision? They're not able, they don't see the future. They're more of an integrator than a visionary, and help them figure out how to do what you're telling them that they need to do.
So, okay, you said two words there that I want to unpack because I think understanding the difference between them is actually really important. The one is being visionary, the other being integrator. Visionary, for most organizations, the visionary is a person who's thinking like 12 months or more into the future. This is a really, really critical function. These people are not necessarily dreamers. They're not always in la la land. They can be sometimes, but these are people really giving an idea of where the organization's going, what's the future look like. They're helping determine priorities to be focusing on, not this calendar year. It's always like the next rolling 12. Jeff Bezos, he famously brags that he pretty much lives everywhere between 3 and 4 years in the future. Like that's his world. He's a visionary, like the classic sense of the world. He has no idea the version of Amazon that exists today. Like zero. He's always in the future, which is awesome. The downside is you also need someone who's an integrator. An integrator is not number two. An integrator is the other side of the number one. These are the people who are living in this rolling calendar year. So they're taking this idea, this vision, where's the company going, and they're actually making it possible and making it practical. So they're figuring out the KPIs, the scorecards, the systems, the team. Like they're actually putting all the wheels on the machine. A lot of people starting out have like they're stuck having to do kind of both, right? They don't have the luxury of having an integrator to toss to, and they might find themselves having to live in that world because the visionary seems too uh, hypothetical and make believe and like unicorns and rainbows. It just feels too impractical. The reality is sometimes if you only are the one person, you have to be able to take on one hat and turn on the other because they're very different skills. So you have to be able to say, hey, in 12 months, this is where we're really going to be. I want it to look like this. I want to have this many people. I want to have this much revenue. I want to be across this many locations, this many service lines, whatever it is. Help paint the picture of what that looks like. Keep it simple for now.
All right,
And
Ryan.
yeah,
You're
go for
you're
it.
doing good. I'm interrupting you because I'm hearing the pain that everyone that hears, because I bet you there's a lot of solopreneurs that are actually better managers, better workers, integrators, and they just don't have the vision of 3 to 4 years. They're just trying to get some jobs, knock them out, and make some money for today. If I'm that person, what do I do? Can I turn it on, or do I need to find somebody? Help me.
It is possible to turn it on. It is possible to find someone, but here's the other thing. You don't have to. For a lot of people, just being like self-employed for themselves and not having another boss and another W2 check coming in, that is their ideal life. God bless you, more power to you. That's great. Nobody's knocking that. Just because you don't want like 14 houses and 5 Lambos, that's not the point, right? The point is like, what is your ideal future? And if your ideal future is like, dude, you just want to come and go and do the work as you want, whenever you want, and don't have to deal with employees, and awesome. No reason to make it more complicated. However, if you do want to grow, if you do want to have a business that has employees and serves customers and does things so that you're not always having to break your body just to make income, then yes, you're going to have to either figure out, is this a skill you have to learn or is this a skill you have to acquire to create the vision? It is a necessary function. Otherwise, you're going to be stuck in the solopreneur sort of stage forever of just like feeling like you're just always burnt out. You can't take vacation. You're might be like at family dinner, but like stuck on your phone because you're not present, and that's not the life anybody wants.
Yeah, Ryan, we're going to have to just dig in on this, because if I'm a solopreneur, or if I have a vision of having 5 trucks, have you studied the profitability margins between the solo dude and the guy with 5 trucks?
Yes.
Can you share with our listeners something that they need to maybe process as it relates to, I want to have 5 trucks and do $1.5 million? What do they not know that the solopreneur might actually have a little bit of a benefit inside of this conversation?
Yeah, so it really comes down to complexity. So when you are doing everything yourself, right? So you become the default. I'm the admin. I'm the CSR. I'm running inventory. I'm running payroll. I'm running customer service. I'm like, it's all you. So in a weird way, all your margin that kind of falls to the bottom, it's just yours. You don't have to share it with anyone. It's there. So it is kind of from a financial standpoint, it is easier to see like net profit, what you take home at the end of the day when it's just you in a truck and it's just you running whatever the business is, right? It's just easier to see that because it doesn't have to go anywhere else. The problem is you get sick, you get hit by a train, you get unstruck, you get hit by a truck, you go on vacation with your family, all that goes away. Like it is that business is dependent on you to run. And if you want to take the day and go to your kids' like baseball game tournament, you're not going to be able to without having a real big financial hit. There's I call it the valley of death, which is usually between one truck and six trucks for a lot of trades businesses, where in that gap, you actually get reverse profitable. Like you will make less money now in that little window than you will if you're like just working for yourself. And you start figuring out all the complexities of I've got employees and I've got HR and I've got to do all this stuff for the IRS to make sure I'm compliant with all these different tax codes. Like all those things get really complicated really quick. They're all solvable. They're all people problems. But in that window, you feel like, why am I spending my time doing this? It was so much easier when it was just me. However, once you cross, like for a lot of trades businesses, it's about six trucks. Once you cross that six truck window, everything gets much, much smoother. I sometimes compare it to like if anyone likes to go boating, like on a lake, like sometimes, like, if there's some chop on the lake and you're kind of going slow, you're going to feel every flipping bump on the water. And then at some point, you just start gunning it fast enough. You start planning above the water and actually smooths out. The faster you go, it actually gets easier to be on the lake. Running a business is very, very similar. It is no different running a 12 truck shop than a 32 truck shop. It's just there's more people doing the work, so you don't have as much to do. So it actually runs smoother and easier the bigger you get. You just replace the complications with systems. So it sounds weird. It sounds like I don't want to deal with employees. I don't want to deal with all the chaos and all the headache. And there is some of that. But usually the once you cross six trucks, it smooths out quite a bit.
Yeah, and what you learn along the way is I don't know if you can even pay for the experience of knowledge of understanding that there's this thing called a breakpoint even number,
Yeah,
and if you add management levels and things like that, you're like, man, there we used to make money, now we're broke.
it
What's going?
is. Yeah, in that valley of death, it is really, really hard. I've got a friend who has a 150 truck shop, and he swears up and down it is infinitely easier for him to have 150 trucks on the road than for him to have three trucks on the road. Just everything gets easier because
No, I'm with you. Are you still with me? Did you freeze on me? Uh-oh, I think I may have lost you. All right, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to end up inviting Brian back, and we're going to end up discussing what exactly you need to do in order to create a mission, a vision, a values, and goals. And so if you're tuned in, if you're checking this out, you've got to create even if you're going to be a solopreneur, like let's say you don't even want to scale to 150 trucks. Let's just say that you want to, have one, maybe two or three, and have someone helping on the backside. And Ryan, are you back with us, or is
I'm
your
here. Yeah, yeah, I'm here. You glitched out, but I was still here. It's weird.
awesome? So let's do this. I was going to invite you back to have it, but let's close off with this. If there is I don't know if you're familiar with EOS or if you're going to
Yeah.
create a vision traction organizer document. I want someone that's listening to this on YouTube or on Facebook or Insta, and they're thinking, okay, I want to create a mission, vision, values of our company. Would you walk them through the bare bones of how to create a vision document?
Yeah, so this is actually a really important step, and putting it in a bare bones format, it makes it sound easier than it is. Because for me, when I was working on like the mission and vision for my business, it's really hard. It's really, really hard. So I'm a fan of like do a 1 year, 3 year, 5 year. Like people like do a 10 year vision. Like that feels like you're just making up stuff at this point. Nobody really knows.
10,000 trucks, baby.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, I'm sorry, that's not going to work at all.
Okay.
But what you do want to do is start asking yourself some really, really serious questions about what does your business do better than anyone else? Like, what problem does it do better than anyone? What pain can you solve better than anyone else can do? Right? Like, what is a market discomfort? And why does it make sense for it to be you? Like, what is it what is it that makes your compelling reason for doing this different than somebody else's? Because having the job is easy. If you're just wanting to sling a wrench, like, dude, there's a bajillion ways to sling a wrench. Like, what is it to you that in your bones gets you up in the middle of the night to go, I'm going to do this? Simon Sinek has a book called Start With Why. It's just like, what is that compelling why? And then you start getting into like, well, what does it look like? So if our goal is to have 5 trucks in a year, what are we going to do with those 5 trucks? Are we going to serve this many customers? What are the trucks going to be made up? Like, you just start putting like flesh on this idea that you're trying to get into, but it's all sorting into why. And so for me, we serve plumbing, HVAC, electrical, roofing, garage door in our business. So for us, we found like really common pain points in those industries. I'm like, cool, we need to solve that pain point because integrity was a problem, dependability is a problem, ethics was a problem. Cool, we're going to solve that. And find a way to do this where it actually personally matters to you. So for us, it was like personally changing the lives of the clients we served. Like, I love seeing our guys send their kids to, the Christian college that they never would have otherwise been able to afford to do. I love the people being like, I have 6 trucks. I'm spending my time with the family on the lake. I don't need to be running calls anymore. Like, whatever that is, that's what it is. We have a client in Calgary. One of their compelling whys is they want to serve their community. So 4 times a year, they do this big public school drive where they take care of food, clothing, school supplies for thousands of kids in their school district that otherwise don't have the economic means to support themselves. That's their compelling reason. And they want to keep doing that. So that attracts people who are like-minded. But when you start putting these things into play, you start getting this like, this is what it looks like. You start dreaming a little, you start wrestling with it, and you start going like, what is the mission? The mission, when it comes down to it, it's like, what is this thing that actually, if the vision is this idea of like what it looks like when you're there, the mission's like, what's it look like when you're on the way? Like, how are you doing this? How are you pulling this off? And it sounds like a weird exercise, but this is one of these things of, I think of the story of like, hey, in the Old Testament, they're talking about like going into the promised land. The vision is like, but this is what the promised land is like. It's got all these things, and check it out. It's got milk and honey, and people can see that and they can kind of visualize it. And then we start putting the mission. You're like, okay, but this is why. This is the cause that we get up for in the morning, and this is why we're going into the promised land. Then all this stuff you start putting in there, you start getting into like 1-year goals. We ran our business on EOS. I can talk a lot about what that is. But the idea is you say, cool, in order for us to get to the promised land in a year, what are the things we have to do to get there? And those are usually some really big things. We got to buy these trucks. We got to hire these people. We got to get this branding done. We got to get our vehicles wrapped, whatever your business is, right? And you just break those down into like smaller targets of like 90-day chunks. So it's like, cool. In this 90 days, here's what we're focusing on. Once that's done, you can go to the next 90 days. And you just start whittling away at this thing until one day you look up and you're like, holy crap, we are in the promised land. This is nuts. Um, it is a slow, methodical process, but I would say if you're wanting to start doing something like that, the Vision Traction Organizer in EOS is a great platform. Give yourself time. It is like a 90-day exercise to give yourself the time to think, to dream, to wrestle, to break it apart. Don't do it fast. Like, don't do it like when you're sitting around on a Saturday afternoon watching college football. You're not going to have good ideas. Like, really put your soul into this. But when you do, it's really crazy what happens.
No, I think you added enough value for anybody that's watching today. You got to go back. You have to write down the 3-year, the 1 year. Did you say 30, 60, 90 after that?
I did not say 30, 60, 90 after there. I just basically left it. But that's kind of the thing, right? The idea of like EOS or Bloom is the idea is that you're kind of like in 90-day worlds. Like every 90 days, like here's the priorities you're going to be accomplishing. But they all nest in these 1-year goals, these 3-year goals. So you're just kind of whittling away piece by piece by piece over time. It becomes really powerful.
So good. I want to close. I want you to give some hope to anybody that's feeling overwhelmed. They're going to go back, they're going to listen, but they're going to end up saying, I don't know what my why is. I don't know what my vision is. Is there people or things that they can do to maybe invite into their lives that might be able to help make clear what seems very unclear to them?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Um, I am a fan of getting input and conversations from as many different people as you possibly can. So this could be a pastor, this could be a trusted leader, this could be other people in the business community that you have a lot of respect for. people who you disagree with, people in different markets who have businesses similar to yours. And instead of like asking them questions about what should I do, which is kind of the natural thing. Like if we're trying to figure out what is my why and what am I doing, instead ask them about their experience. What was it like when you were starting out? What things terrified you? What things made you nervous before you jumped in full time? Get an idea of what their things were and start looking for these common threads. You'll start seeing them. For me, one of the things was I always was drawn to people who ran businesses in the same way that there's a lot of pictures and imagery from the New Testament of like the service towards others. So I was always drawn to people who led their businesses in the same way that Jesus led the early church. Because to me, that was like the most pure form of existence, of helping other people. It wasn't about trying to get rich. It wasn't trying to about like load my bank account. It was literally just trying to make a difference where I was. And when you start finding people like that, you start getting these ideas and you start getting some like intersected points where you go, that inspires me. That
So
gets me up.
good, Ryan. You are
So
an
yeah.
ace. You're so good. I'm gonna end up chatting with you right after we get off and beg you to come on almost every single day, and we're gonna go through the entire 365 days together. One of our vision here at Browns is to call, train, and send everyday missionaries into the marketplace.
That's awesome.
When you lead with that type of vision, you draw people who are like, yeah,
Yeah.
I want to go off and serve people. And then our mission is to create jobs, make disciples, and serve the city. When you cast that in front of someone, it's like, well, how do you create jobs? Well, excellence. How do you make disciples? Well, you got to be one. And then how do you serve your city? Well, you got to wash widows' houses and do good inside of your community. So anyway, I absolutely love everything that you've said. For any last words that you'd like to share, if somebody wants to.
Yeah. Actually, you said something I think is worth pointing out because I think a lot of people are focused on the thing that they do. Like, oh, I'm a plumber. Oh, I power wash. Oh, I hydrojet, whatever it is. And totally makes sense. There's a story of a person who saw three people making bricks. And you may have heard the story, but the person went up to the first person and said, "What are you doing?" I said, "Well, I'm making bricks." Like, oh, okay. So it goes to the second person, like, "What are you doing?" It's like, "Oh, I'm making bricks. I'm making bricks for this wall." Oh, okay, cool. It went to the third person and said, "What are you doing?" "Oh, I'm making bricks for this south wall of this cathedral in Spain so that people can be inspired to worship God." They are all three making bricks. They're all three making the stuff out of the sand and the mud and the straw and the hay. But the people who are like tied to this more compelling, bigger than them reason, they will always do more, better, faster, stronger, smarter, with more integrity, with more heart than the people who are just playing in the mud. So, what I would encourage you to do is start thinking about yourself like, don't just make bricks. Like, don't just think about, well, all I do is power wash, or all I do is install mini splits, or all I do is whatever it is, right? Find what is your basilica. What is that inspiring thing that calls you to it, that you can also get other people willing to work in the mud with you to build bricks for that same cause.
Yeah. So right, and we're closing with this because we've got to go, and I've got to have you back, man. You are an absolute ace. Brady, who now is a business partner at Browns, he used to ask me in like this is like year 3. We're in year 9 now. He said, Josh, we're at Authentic Coffee in White House. He said, Josh, these people that are working at the company, he wasn't part of Browns yet. He said, they're acting like they're washing the president of the United States house. How do you get them to do that? And I'm like, culture.
Yeah,
And so, if you've got any value out of this, in a second, you're going to hear a close. You need to join a coaching community. If you're wanting to grow, scale, you need to find a coach like Ryan. Ryan, how can someone find out more information about you before we end up?
probably the easiest way is my website's eightfoldadvantage.com, and that's also eightfold advantage at all the socials.
Hey, we're going to see you maybe tomorrow. Have a good day.
See you, man.
Hey, thank you for checking out today's conversation. If there was something that we discussed that you want to find out more information on, just type your question inside the comments and we'll go a little bit deeper. We'll try to answer that for you. And then if you own a pressure washing business and you're trying to figure out how to scale it, I've got a community that you would be perfect in. If you'll go to asyougo.network, you can find out more information, whether you're doing a few $1,000s a month or you're doing several $100,000 a month. We can help you scale with friends to a multi-million dollar business. And then if you've been chewing on thinking about starting a business in the trades or pressure washing, have a free webinar on why you should and how to. So you can get that at asyougo.network, or you can just comment below more info and I'll end up sending you a link and DM you. But thank you for today. If you want to be a guest and chat face to face and share your wisdom and knowledge on Wash and Win with friends, just hit me up below. Talk to you later. Peace.